And when I say thug life, I mean that shit. Cause these white folks see us as thugs. I don't care what y'all think. I don't care if you think you a lawyer, if you a man, if you an African American, if you whatever the fuck you think you are. We thugs and niggas to these motherfuckers. You know? And until we own some shit, I'ma call it like it is. How you gonna be a man if we start?
When you black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. I'd rather go to war against my own government. I would never die for America. Black in America, when you black in America, feeling trapped in America. Feds shooting first, black lives, they don't give a damn, so you gotta stay strapped in America. Black in America. They don't understand what we go through. I don't give a damn what they told you. They be lying in the media, don't believe none of what you hear, and only half what they show you. Black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America, out cause I'm old and black. I'm destined for jail cells and hearses, Lord, that's all they see for my future. My options, I play ball or rap. They think we not equal to them, well let me be the first one to seesaw the rules. Cause we ain't got time for the small talk. I come from the city where the crooked niggas dwell. Feds come run away, you'll get put in a cell. Lord show me heaven cause we living in this hell. Trying to stay afloat, still bringing in them bills. Cause it's no jobs for a black man. They see us better as the trap man. Ride strapped in the mad black van. They ain't gotta tell us how to dance for a laugh now. And they just kick back, watch us die over crack stand. Somebody help us, please help us now. If they can't control us, they just gun us down. They recruit them soldiers and knowing the war was for nothing, then come home and patrol the towns. And we ain't no better, we don't make it better by killing our neighbors. We idolize paper, we spend it, we chase it. But you ever looked at them bills? These the same motherfuckers who hate us. No, they don't give a fuck about me or you. They tell us shit like stay focused and count your blessings. An honest message is one of the biggest lies that ever been televised. We can start
gifted, odd, and driven. We are in the building. Abstrakt Xcilence. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. The fellas are running a little behind today. They should be in a few. But today we have a special, well, she's special, but she's not a guest. She's family. And it's Brittany here. And we're going to let her talk in a few and talk about what she's doing with her Books Over Bullets. Awesome, 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 amazing campaign. But as always, I want to open up. Oh, I'm sorry. My little choo-pa-choo. Jay Dakota is opening with us today instead of closing. Well, she's gonna close. She's gonna do her thing, right, boo? Say hi. So as always, I'm gonna open. Just a little word. As I said before, man, we're here to change the narrative and do something different. And with all the violence that's gone on over the last couple of days, the shootings of Columbia Heights and Rhode Island Avenue, I think we need to really hone in on influence and affect what we can do to make a difference and be the difference as individuals, you know, not on this grandiose big scale of whatever it is that, you know, is trendy and showing, but more or less just taking a look in the mirror and really honing in on how you can be a better person and how you can add to the narrative of changing the narrative, so to speak. That said, man, we're going to kind of discuss that today once the fellas get here. And as I said, we're going to go over some things with Brittany and her Books Over Bullets. As always, y'all know y'all can chime in. We live on Instagram. Phone numbers 240-719-2560. You can call in. Connect to the Bridge Doc. What's going on, lay y'all? As I said, every week we wouldn't be here without you. All of my mother's blood and otherwise, Ma, Pam, mother-in-law, everybody, everybody. I love all y'all. I appreciate you. Let's get right to it. Miss Britt, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. She is, you know what? Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Burgess. I'm from the D.C. area. I'm a recently winner of the 2019 Miss Full Figure DMV Plus pageant. I'm second runner-up, and I'm also Miss Photogenic and Miss Congeniality. With that being said, we had to create. I already had my platform, but we had to have a platform that's something that you was passionate about to work with. And mine was Books Over Bullets because I like making an impact on young people in the community. So with that being said, I've been doing that over the years, but I'm not the type that likes to be upfront about it and be known, be getting like, yeah, she's doing this. I'm just more in the background. I like to be in the background and encouraging young people and just making things happen for them in their lives.
Well, I mean, effect doesn't necessarily need a show. We discussed that in our little meeting we had Friday. We had a pre-show business meeting Friday that got a little heated. That's what we do, though. So, nevertheless, as we talked about Friday, discuss a little bit about your view on gun violence and how you feel about that in reference to.
Well, it really hurts me, like young people, like I wish they would just realize, it's more to life than just being in the streets. If you could just have like something that you're passionate about and want to work on, and have someone backing you to let you know that I can make it to what I really want to do in life instead of turning to the streets. This was like, it touched me because one of my sister's friends, he got killed when they were 14. They're now, my sister's 22 now, so like they didn't know how to handle that situation, like, and they was just like all lost, crying, wanting the avenue, wanted help to like answers, but they didn't know what to do, how to get those answers. So me being me, I didn't realize I would make a difference in their lives. Like they would just come over to our home and just play games and like have an avenue to unwind and just relax and not think about like what, the street life for real. They have a safe space they can come to instead of turning to the streets. So I would help with their homework. I would go to their games with them, stuff that young people
is that
really
how you
need.
kind of got started with the Books Over Bullets?
It is how I got started.
Okay. Okay. So you were doing it basically without any actual funding.
I was.
Or all on your own.
On my own.
I understand that's passion, but again, she's not a guest for us. She's family, and as we move along in our journey, and I guess you say filter ourselves into the community, she is definitely going to be a major part of what we do. That said, I think so many people have basically similar stories to what you're talking about, that it's kind of crazy for me that we continue to kind of recycle these stories generation after generation, which I think should be the focus more or less on what we need to do to change the narrative. And like I said, opening the show, like it comes with each individual literally taking a look at self. You know what I'm saying? And that is this whole pointing the finger or, coming together is, we do need to come together, and it's great to see us all come together and unite. But then after we come together, what are we doing once we're together? Where are we going? What's the point? What's the purpose? What is the result in the end of what we're doing? And how do we change the narrative with us uniting? What does it all mean? So I think it's a lot more than just, as I said, the trendy, let's all hang out and hook up and stop the violence. But then after it's over with, how are we stopping the violence? That's the question. Nevertheless,
Bigger problem.
Yeah, exactly. Nephew, I'm sorry. We kind of hop right into it. Of course, Ark is in the building. As C-section. I'll let you chime in and give your throw in on that.
I mean, I agree with you said and everything. We'll be doing the protests and everything. I think people just doing it for clout, just to say they've been there. And without actually putting their all and heart into it and just doing that as a little social event to get out the house or whatever. But then they're going right back to the same neighborhood doing the same thing instead of saying, hey, come down and really get into this. Like, let's go. I want change instead of just saying I was a part of it and not really doing nothing.
I think it wouldn't be there if they didn't really want change. No, I don't think it's so much as just having something to do. Yeah, it is, but I think it's okay. You got us here, now what? You know what I'm saying? It does take leadership at some point in time, and so we all here now, right? So we all here, we all together now. What we're about to do. That's the thing. That's it's kind of the thing where I talk to my mother a lot about, you know, this whole faith versus prayer thing, and I'm like, you know, faith without actions, I mean, faith without works is dead, right? So I pray, absolutely pray, but there's another part to that. You can't just pray and then just sit there. You got to pray, and then once you get up off your knees, then what? That's the question. You got to do something. So there's a part that you play in that as well in terms of faith. So we can't just get there. Say, okay, well, we're here now, and so what we about to do, y'all? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. So we can unite all day long, but then what? What's the next step? Where are we going next? What are we going to do in action to change the narrative moving forward for their generation, or her kids' kids, or their kids' kids? Like, it's not about us. And the minute we get that and get over that and understand that we live for next versus now, we'll know then what to do. But again, we all have different opinions. The fellas have some varying opinions from mine.
So how do you get to that point with my generation? With, you know, that gap in between where the older generation usually teaches the young generation after the protest what to do after that. We don't know what to do after that. All we know is coming together. So how do you teach us to get us to the next step?
I think that's the problem. That's literally the problem.
And, you know, our mind says we got a short attention mind span. So the next news come out, we passed all that.
I think on this one, matter of fact, my man, right on cue. Stan, the man, as always, in the building. I need to make sure he enlists on this one because he has an interesting view on it. And I was thinking before he even went and just got the mic, because he's about to get on mic, he needs to speak on this. But as far as to answer your question from my point of view, it's exactly everything I just said. It's action, you know, and at some point in time, we have to stand up for what we know to be right, even if it don't feel right. And what I mean by that is, as grown men, like, you know, some things we do now, I just made a post recently. Said, like, I don't want to be playing games until my 40s and 50s. Yeah, I love women, right? I love women, absolutely. Don't misunderstand it. But I got teenage boys. I've done what I've done. I've gone through what I've gone through. I'm not saying I'm by no means a Boy Scout. And anybody that knows me knows this. So, absolutely, I'm saying I have my history, I have my past. But my present has absolutely nothing to do with that, because I am absolutely evolving into the man that I need to be. That said, you're not going to hold this back here against me for this right here. So at that point, as men, we have to step up and say, you know what, I'm going to own who I was and what I've done, but I'm going to stand on what I believe right now and move forward. And at some point in time, if you do it the right way, it all falls in line. But as men, we have to understand what that looks like. Their roles. That's the way we were created for roles and responsibilities. There are roles and places in the household and things that are supposed to be done a certain way. But we have to first set that standard, because you can't fix nothing out there until you fix what's in here. Stan, what's your look, baby?
Well, hold on. So what's the question one more time?
How do my generation, how do the older generation teach the young generation how to get past step 2 of the protesting, do more action, keep the movement going?
I mean, it's a lot to that, you know, and a lot of the reason why y'all out there protesting right now is because people in our generation and before didn't give y'all the proper tools. You know what I mean? Like, I think protesting is it's not really the movement. You know what I mean? I think the movement lies in history. I think the movement lies in the actual law. You know, it's a lot of people that sacrifice themselves to tell us the truth, and we didn't learn from it. You know, over and over, you got the Muhammad Ali's of the world, the Malcolm X's. We idolize these people, but we really don't look at what they were trying to give to us. Martin Luther King, my people find themselves in exile in their own homeland. It's a lot that the generations before your generation have missed. But what I think a lot of people don't really look at it is that your generation is genius. You know what I mean? Like, your generation more so than the generations that come before you have the most ability to break the chain. You know what I mean? Y'all have limitless access to information and knowledge. Young people know things that older people don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I could sit with people 70, 80 years old. They don't have a clue about history, science, a lot of these things that y'all get on memes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had this kid telling me, this kid 8 years old, he's telling me the other day about, do I know about H3O2? That real water is actually H3O2 and not H2O. 8 years old. The average adult has no clue.
idea.
Right. And I think that we have this onlook where, you know, the older generation must lead the younger generation. In a lot of ways, the younger generation is leading us. That is the fact. I think there needs to be a convergence and a meeting in the middle. You know what I mean? That has not happened in the black community as of yet. It needs to be an older, get with the younger, and both minds meet. Instead of, I'm older, I look down on you, or I'm younger, I don't want to be like you, I want to do something different. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think everything in life, you're absolutely correct. There has to be some basic sacrifice. Yeah. Somebody has to sacrifice their pride and ego, so to speak, and say, you know what, I don't know it all. I need to be able to humble myself and say, you know what, maybe you do know that a little bit. Maybe that is your strength versus, you know,
it's
X,
like
Y, Z.
A generational battle also, just like how I think it's a battle of the sexes. It's just unnecessary. Like, you look at all the other cultures, they celebrate the elderly, even in music. Like, all of us listen to rap music.
Right.
But after somebody out for like 3 years, you're like, oh, he old. But look at Europeans, look at the white people, right? They still going to Mick Jagger concerts. The grandmama, the mama,
Precisely.
the baby fire, they're going to see Mick Jagger.
Henceforth, what our little argument was at our little meeting with that. So forth and so on. But we're going to take a small, medium break, folks. The fellas are here, and we're going to get right back to this in 30 seconds. 30 seconds or so. Yeah, we're going to do that. We'll be back.
I mean that shit, cause these white folks see us as thugs. I don't care what y'all think. I don't care if you think you a lawyer, if you a man, if you an African American, if you whatever the fuck you think you are. We thugs and niggas to these motherfuckers. You know? And until we own some shit, I'ma call it like it is. How you gonna be a man if we start?
When you black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. I'd rather go to war against my own government. I would never die for America. Trapped in America, fair shooting first, black lives, they don't give a damn, so you gotta stay strapped in America. Black, they don't understand what we go through. I don't give a damn what they told you. They be lying in the media, don't believe none of what you hear, and only half what they show you. Black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America, cause I'm old and black. I'm destined for jail cells and hearses. Lord, that's all they see for my future. My options, I play ball or rap. They think we not equal to them. Well, let me be the first one to seesaw the rules. Cause we ain't got time for the small talk. I'm from the city where the crooked niggas dwell. Feds come run away or get put in a cell. Lord, show me heaven cause we living in this hell. Trying to stay afloat, still bringing in them bills. Cause it's no jobs for a black man. They see us better as the trap man. Ride strapped in the mad black van. They ain't gotta tell us how to dance for a laugh now. They just kick back, watch us die over crack stand. Somebody help us, please help us now. If they can't control us, they just gun us down. They recruit them soldiers and know when the war was niggas for nothing, then come home and patrol the towns. And we ain't no better, we don't make it better by killing our neighbors. We idolize paper, we spend it, we chase it. But you ever looked at them bills? These the same motherfuckers who hate us. No, they don't give a fuck about me or you. They tell us shit like stay focused and count your blessings. An honest message is one of the biggest lies that ever been televised. We can start with 9/11. Oh, they sleeping. The truth right here. You can never live a day in these nightmares. We them niggas America might fear. White man, reality is a nightmare when you black in America. When you black in America. This is not for America. I'd rather go to war against my own government. I would never die for America. Black in America. When you black in America. Feeling trapped in America. Fair shooting first, black lives, they don't give a damn, so you gotta stay strapped in America. Black in America. They don't understand what we go through. I don't give a damn what they told you.
We back, folks. As always, the brothers are here. These guys, you know them guys right there, them guys and Little Bra. I don't know, did the camera get Little Bra? Oh, did you get he over there?
He in there.
There you go. There you go.
Hey there, young fella.
Yeah, and the Ark has switched positions, and of course, Jay Dakota's over there. So we got everything covered. Everybody's back. Let's just get right to work. So
The topic of today.
we already hopped into it. Just so y'all know, we already kind of going into it. Y'all just got hop in. We were already discussing gun violence and this nonsense that's going on and what we need to do to change it. Now, if you actually had an interesting question, throw it at Bree.
How do the older generation reach the younger generation to get to the second step after protesting? You do more action.
That's a good question.
That's
very good. You gotta get that support right there.
For one, I think you gotta really get the youth attention. If you don't grab their attention, you're not gonna get nowhere.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
So
You know what? Maybe we should throw it back into where we were.
But how are we gonna get the attention? That's the question.
Steve Harvey actually got a good program. Have y'all ever? Yeah.
Stop it. Don't stop.
He got a program.
He got a suit program.
He got He got a program once a year, like it's an all male camp where he grab like inner city kids and they go out on a resort and he
take them to Disney World and all that.
He teach them how to be a man.
Now, I got a quick question because this is my thing. Because Eric, you said something about protesting.
Right.
I'm 100% against protesting and sit-ins and singing because we've been doing it for how many years and it really doesn't work.
Well, that was the point. It's funny because that's I should have said that's what we were kind of saying. We were piggybacking on our discussion from Ray Lobster Friday, right? So I was saying that our heated debate was that I was saying, you know, I'm not gonna say necessarily the protest, but all the events. Like, cool, I'm fine with that, but I just don't understand. Okay, after the events, it's like I had an argument with my mother. After we pray, then what do we do after we get off our knees? That's what I'm saying. Like after the events, after we all unite and come together, cool, great, we just did that. Then what? What do we do to change this? You feel what I'm saying?
Let me say this. If it didn't work, me personally, if it didn't work, then we would still be in the same place that we were over 60, 70 years ago. Protesting did work too. The sit-ins did work too.
He got you on that. I like
because
that.
the Martin Luther Kings of the days,
they changed something.
They changed something.
Not everything.
Man, don't get me wrong. I get where you're going. We've gotten to a point where that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah,
but don't ever say it didn't work.
I think it worked back then.
It didn't work then.
But now it just like it's like throwing a match into it. It's like throwing gasoline into a fire.
Yeah, that's
now.
a very, very valid point.
Because most protests end violently.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Like you said, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X's, we had a lot of those, but a lot of those movements created a lot of problems. A lot of people don't look at that in history. Like for instance, we already had a black bus line in North Carolina and South Carolina was another state. I think it was Georgia. And because we had a movement to boycott the buses, everybody assumed that it was only white people that owned the buses. They end up boycotting black bus lines.
Right.
You know, I think in order to get out of the problem, we need to know what the problem is.
Right. I mean, that's the first step, knowing the problem. And we don't have any true leaders. Like we have people that want to come to the forefront when there's a television camera and give a speech, but we don't have anybody to actually lead anybody or come up with a plan that can show you some kind of end result. Like Okay, so for example, I idolize Malcolm X, but not because of him and his religious beliefs, but because of what he wanted to do in the black community, which is, like Stan said, bus lines, our own stores, our own clothing line, and empower us with our own stuff instead of going to the next neighborhood.
I agree with that. I'm sorry. Somebody else want to say something. I agree with that, but you know what's so funny? Whenever we do that, like I've seen, how many soul food restaurants have we seen come up and fall? That was in our neighborhood.
Legacy, I love y'all, baby. All day, every day. Fort Washington, Legacy, Waldorf. Y'all make sure y'all go see them. I'm sorry, Bree. I had to get a plug.
Yeah, expensive too, boy.
I don't know who they are. Legacy.
Yeah, no, y'all got that good food. But look, hold on.
Good food.
Hey, no food.
No, but every time we have a black
Crab
owned
fries,
something,
off
we
the
don't
chain.
support it. You get what I'm saying? We'll run to, no disrespect, nowhere near am I racist, you know that. But the first thing we do, we'll run to the Chinese store. We go get their chicken wings, instead of going to get our own chicken wings somebody else is cooking for us. We don't support our own business at all, period.
Well, let's change that.
How
Since
do
we
you
got
now,
since we got a voice,
how do we do it?
Since we got a voice, let's start promoting all black businesses on this show right now.
Now I'm gonna tell
Let's
you what.
change
Now
that.
we started with that, and I started because I started opening up the show with basically because my man here. This is we talk. So at the end of the day, what I said was how we change this is not with these big grandiose things. We change it every day when we get up and look at ourselves because it's what can you do? I can't make Bree Love do nothing. I can't make Malcolm do nothing. I can do though. So what I can do is use whatever God gives me to help somebody else. If I bless, what you say? If it's one person, y'all, I'm telling you, y'all think. I hear it. That's that one thing. Like you said, y'all flip the mindset for me. And every time I hear something, I take it in. Like, but I didn't see it in a way where we talking about the whatever it's going. That stuff. I see it in a way that for me, like, how can I make a difference in one person's life every day? If I can just do that, man, listen. Whatever anybody else says don't matter. You know what I'm saying? That one person touches. Listen, each one teach one. What Tupac say? What Tupac say?
Got to.
If listen, if I can't change the world, I want to reach the mind that changes the world. Like,
I always tell you, one person can't change the world, but one person can change one person's world.
Yeah.
Yeah, you reach one, you teach one.
So like he said, man, we at Abstrakt Xcilence in general, not just the show, the nonprofit, the movement, everything that we are is about using what God gives us and blessing somebody else, man. At the end of the day, whether it be this platform, like he said, whether it be just what we do with our time. Legacy, I know how often I come see y'all, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just, man.
Hey, wouldn't that be a great challenge? Since everybody doing challenges, do let's say I was a 30-day all-black challenge.
I like
Black
that.
business challenge.
So y'all,
Everything that
that's,
we do
we gonna
gotta
pose
be-
it. We gonna challenge each other, and if anybody else want to join us, we gonna hold each other accountable. 30-day black
Going on
challenge.
Google as soon as we
Next
finish.
month?
Yeah.
Next month or the month after? When you gonna start it? 30 days.
We can start. October's coming. We can start October.
Start too.
October.
So
nothing-
they give
specifically
everybody
nothing but black-owned
they give
business.
everybody
That's all
enough
you
time
can
to
get
search
everything.
every black
Everything
business.
right.
So
Mhm.
yeah, I want no excuses.
I need somebody to own a black Chuck E. Cheese because my daughter's birthday is at the end of the month. So, I want to support. Just let me know where it is, man.
Hey, you stupid, but man, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That one caught me off guard. I'm sorry.
Oh man. But now I think, man, we can change some narratives, and I'm not saying we gonna get it all right the first time,
No.
but
Practice makes perfect.
listen, it's got to start somewhere, right? Why not here? Why not with us?
You never know what can happen if you don't try.
Hey, that's what I'm talking.
Going back to what Ant said. So think about it. You said Steve Harvey and this man with the suits. How can the people in our community really relate to that? They might see Steve Harvey who he is now, and they be like, he didn't come from the struggle like I came from.
Right.
So who in our community is really going to step up and say, I was there where you were, and how can we get them to see that we were there where they were, and we actually came up from what we were doing? Tag. Go ahead.
Boom. See how she just boom. We in there. But no.
I didn't know what he was doing. That's why I was sitting there.
Reload the gun.
They got
No.
still looking for
Seriously, what she just said is clutch. Like, we have people in place now in position that have come from where we come from. This is what we were talking about Friday. That's what I was trying to say. And she just kind of led into that point, which she didn't get a chance to Friday, but I'm glad you just did. That's it right there. Like, Steve Harvey is not the key. It's some of the other people we were referring to and talking about. Like, they already in position, right? They already in position. You in position to flip some tables, I know some people that like flipping tables. And when you flip tables, like Jesus did, so to speak, not to get too biblical or, whatever, because I know everybody has it. Yeah, but that's another.
In the book?
It's there.
You flip the table?
Yeah, it's there. Stan and I, hold on. Listen, and not to get off topic, but Stan and I have regular conversations about the 3 dialects, both Quran, Bible, but that's another topic, another show altogether. Nevertheless, some people like to, when you flip tables, you get people paying attention. They want to know, like you just said, he did what? He flipped exactly. When you flip tables, people pay attention. So use your influence to make a difference. Sometimes you got to flip some tables. You can't just be all nice and doing press conferences and,
Kicking the door, huh?
Yeah, so Jesus.
Like what I tell y'all, I want the smoke. That's why I'm taking that.
Flip a
That's
table?
what I actually tell people in my household. Listen, if it's wrong, he'll tell you, she'll tell you. I'm not.
He ain't flipping no table in my house. You have to clean up.
I can't flip the table. Hold on, we playing spades. I'm sorry. Go ahead. We about to get off the whole topic. Yeah, there we go. But go ahead, Breed. I'm sorry.
For one, I think they need to bring the Rex Centers back, man.
Yeah, we talked about that.
This younger generation, they don't know nothing.
But we allowed them to take them away.
We were kids at that time.
No. A lot of stuff that I've seen in our generation. I can't speak about everywhere else. That how much it has changed around in our area where they've taken some things away. Now they opened up the Kennedys. It was the Kennedy wreck.
Yeah,
wreck
7th Street.
7th Street one. But a lot of kids don't want to go up there. You get what I'm saying? Because different neighborhoods going against each other. So that's what we have to start inside the neighborhood.
Put them back in all neighborhoods.
Saying that because we used to party with. We used to go play basketball with everybody. We weren't supposed to be with at the time. We used to go white and colors and play surgical. There was no shout out. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me.
We spend a lot of time over different neighborhoods.
In different neighborhoods playing, and that's the thing now that I've noticed more and more that these kids don't even do. Like you realize go to school with these guys, but you don't even see them after school. We used to see the people we went to school with.
It's a different
in the
time.
evening.
Yeah.
But that also has to do with the era. Like they rather go home and hop on the iPad or at the head
Video
phone
game.
all day long.
We spend time
So
outside.
Or video games.
Like I remember.
Just neighborhoods, we egg beefs and stuff like that, just having fun, just throwing
Water fights.
Matter of fact, how many of y'all remember y'all mother telling y'all, man, go outside, you're getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
When's the last time you seen one of these? Go outside.
And don't come back in here
be like,
until the lights come.
Be like, no, it's 100 degrees outside. Well, go find some shade outside. But go outside. Like,
Go somewhere and play.
They'll never experience how fun it is to play blacktop football. Tackle football in the grass.
Some of that on.
But y'all know what though?
Got some strawberries from that, man.
All
But
real
they
rap.
lit it up too well.
Like at the end of the day, that's why I said to y'all, like this opportunity has come along at exactly the right time. Everything y'all talking about, what y'all think the kids doing though? They on my kids right now on YouTube or on the game. So the only way we gonna get to them is right. Unfortunately, this is what we gotta use to get. This is where they are. I like to say all the time, don't try to make people meet you where you want them, but meet them where they are.
Yeah, true, I agree with that to a degree, but sometimes you can, especially in a certain age group, you can control it because you're the parent.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? There's a time where it says no
It's a certain amount. Yeah,
at
exactly.
this time. There's no electronics at
Matter
this
of
one
fact,
time.
good thing in my household, right? And every day, this is this is beyond homework. You read at least 30 minutes to 45 minutes after homework, before anything, before you eat, before you touch a game, before you do. And this has been since they were like 5 or 6, since they learned how to read. Like you're going to
third grade
read.
again.
Absolutely. I couldn't see your hand.
No, I'm just not. My hand don't work. Only your hand.
I didn't even see it.
No, I kind of pointed at it, but I was trying
I thought you was pointing at me.
No, I was pointing at the hand, but it was okay.
So
you could have just nudged me though.
I want to go back to what we were talking about, kind of the leaders thing. Like I said earlier, we see all of the vocal leaders who want to come out when TV's on, but there are leaders in the community who don't get the TV time that no one ever sees or no one ever knows. So how do we get those guys to come to the forefront more than like the Al Sharptons and those type of guys?
Yeah.
Those.
I mean, like the other people.
I think that we're not looking at the fact that it's a conscious movement to keep our people oppressed. There's people that get paid salaries to come infiltrate your organizations, your movements, all this. And a lot of people that are thrown out in front of us, they're turncoats. You know
100%.
what I mean? Like you said, Al Sharpton. I worked with Al Sharpton every day for 2 years. I was his engineer doing his show in the mornings. This guy is not the person that you think. I met Jesse Jackson. I met a lot of these people people are not leaders.
No,
Simply
that's why they still
trust me, I'm with you.
paying them to come out and pretend to be a lot of these things and do all these things that they know they shouldn't be doing. And they set bad examples for everybody to follow because we look up to them as leaders. Just like we look up to entertainers as leaders. They're entertainers, they're not leaders.
That's exactly what you just said.
They not
So
even authentic. They not even authentic.
That's the
Big
problem with
Reverend
kids.
used to say that every time.
And that's the problem with the kids. They're not identifying the difference. That's an entertainer. That's their job. They get paid to entertain. So everything they do, it's not real what they're doing a lot of the times. And they look at and they're looking like, oh my God, he can do this, he can do this. No, they can't. Not really. It's just, you know what I'm saying?
CGI.
Exactly.
Hey, anybody saying Hank? I'm going to find Hank, man. We're gonna start the
so random, buddy. So random.
We about to start the back. We about to start the neighborhood basketball tournament back up next summer, man.
Listen, I actually, I think we're going.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
Okay,
after,
since you threw Hank out there, you got to at least explain what he is.
No, listen, we don't. Okay, that's why I said that's too random. Remember, we gotta let's stay rolling. You were saying something, sir.
I was.
Yeah, because he said he just brought up Hank randomly in the middle of your thought. Yeah.
I see the stuff you brought people all timers, huh?
Yeah.
Remember nothing.
Well, let me see if I can lead you back in. Yeah. So in the sense of what you were just saying and what we were talking about also, when you have people in positions that have been strategically placed in these positions, right? And maybe at the beginning, we were talking about, maybe at the beginning they were organically doing what they were doing for a purpose. But somewhere along the line,
money changed.
Money, position,
power,
and place change things. I don't want to lose this place I'm in, so therefore I'm going to play along. And that's all I was trying to say when we were talking Friday. Like at some point in time, you got to see that, yes, they are organizing certain things. However, after those things are done, everything goes back to Wild Wild West.
Yeah. Well, I would even go further than say that a lot of people are groomed for their position. If you look
I believe it after seeing certain things.
You know, like, woke people always talk about the boule. But few people know that there is a boule that exists. The oldest Greek fraternity, Sigma Pi Phi, is the black boule. And they come out just to infiltrate. And they giving money, jobs, status, all this, just to sit in the community and flip people around. As you saying one thing, and then by the time it get to the next person's telephone, they done changed it. And so people not really getting the real message.
Henceforth, the counsel of having people around you that you feel you can trust.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
because
the problem. People can act very well these days.
that's why you got to try to filter them out, man. That's why I would rather, as we say, I would rather fight with my brothers because at least I know where they're coming from. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? Like,
if you don't, then I can't consider you real to me because we're not going to agree on everything.
and that's impossible,
It's
right?
impossible.
Right.
We shouldn't, and that's what makes it greater, and that's what makes it. That's why I love this platform. You feel me?
And that's why we're about to do some things to change some things for some people. And not because we looking for something big to do, but just because what we just talking about. We just talking like, how can we change this story from continuing to happen? We've heard it over and over again since we were kids. 5 people shot in the alley, 1 dead. 6 people shot in the something, 2 dead. 13 people shot, 3 dead. And we just like, oh, that's sad, it's messed up. And then the next day it becomes normal.
Yeah. Most crimes are economic. I don't think it's mainly black on black. I think it's just economic. Well, everybody trying to,
survival.
survival.
Mm-hmm.
Black people like, oh, we come from the ghetto and all these things or whatever. But the ghetto was originally Jewish, a Jewish concept in Europe. And they just flipped the role because we was the ones that was princes having jewelry and a lot of things or whatever. And they flipped roles with us because these people were the people of the ghetto and they were doing the same thing.
Yeah, they
so
weren't
they
originally
know
for
that
us.
economics has an effect on people. I think we need to reevaluate, not just, making money, but how we preserve wealth in a lot of these things. Like, I don't know if y'all seen that Revolt Summit.
I did.
Y'all seen that? Y'all seen what T.I. had to say?
Yeah.
Brought up reparations. He was like, yo, we not in the right position.
Shout out to T.I.
We not in the right
Check us
position.
out, baby.
We
Abstrakt
don't have
Excellence. I'm going to tag you in this too.
We don't have access to these reparations. So we struggling and surviving, but it's a lot of money and things that's out there that's actually ours, and people are just keeping us away from it.
Yeah.
See, but then all that ties back into education.
Yeah.
We aren't educated properly. We aren't educated enough. We aren't educated wholly. Like like if a brother like Stan was to speak to some younger brothers, everything he's saying will go over their head. None of them would want to ask questions about, hey, what does that mean? And then that goes back into confidence. Because you don't want to seem stupid in front of anybody. Right. So you don't want to ask, well, what does reparations mean? I don't know what that means or how that ties into me.
I didn't have a problem when I was younger asking.
Yeah.
Say if I didn't understand something. Hey, I don't understand that. And when did we get to that point where people are scared to ask for help or ask when they don't understand something? When did we get to that point?
When we got them teachers in the classroom, they feel like they weren't nothing.
I think it really got bad. I think if you really look at it, like as social media grew, so did this bullying, internet. I don't know how that's possible because all I'm gonna do. I mean, in my head, I'm like,
I just
phone off. You can't internet bully me at that point. But they say it's different because they got to go to school and the kids and everybody's friends and they got all this blast. I don't know nothing about none of this stuff, so I sound old, but
I think
it's okay.
I think that's the worst.
But that's the issue. I think
that's happening in this younger generation is the bullying.
Like
you'll have a whole school bully one person.
But see, you talking about young people. I'm not talking. I mean, yes, the young people. That's the problem, obviously. But it starts with the. Listen, how many times have y'all seen one celebrity or somebody do something and all of a sudden their whole life is Juicy Smollett? If it happens,
I thought it was Jesse.
You will be.
I thought it was Jesse.
If y'all saw what I saw,
that's why I turned to the side.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hey, Dave, I didn't let him. No, I didn't tell him to do that, Dave.
You know what I'm saying? Dave Chappelle, shout out, baby. I'm gonna tag you in this too. Watch the show.
All right.
Look.
I already know. We got it. Watch the show.
Oh man.
No, but it's juicy. He said the French guy.
Oh man, nah, listen.
So let me ask y'all this, because this is because the eras are so different, and I was just thinking about bullying, like the way they handle bullying now, to how we handle bullies. Because I remember having a couple of bullies.
About fighting the bullies?
Yeah,
that's what
I'm not saying go fight or do something crazy. What I'm saying is that there was a different era, like. When you would go tell your mother, I got somebody bullied me, she'd say, oh, what you do? You better go down there and fight them. And
can I ask you, why you not telling them to go fight and do something crazy if somebody's trying to bully them and take their money and make them feel bad? Why would they not fight? Stand up for yourself and fight.
Because I don't want to be advocating violence. But
it's not violence. You stand up for yourself.
But this is a different time. Let's be real. This is a different time.
They go shoot up the whole school.
Let's be honest. They're so embarrassed to take a butt whooping. That's where it's got. Let's be honest. Because everything is put on what? Like we just said, social media. You pull out your phone instead of, you know what I mean?
World star.
Exactly.
World
star. And that's what's happening.
But, but once again,
we give one or take one.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, but once again, that was in the era. It didn't matter if you lost. The whole objective was you stood up for yourself.
That's why I said
it had nothing to do with me winning, because I didn't win every fight that I fought.
Nobody.
But it was, but it was a matter. It was a matter of standing up for yourself.
I mean, back then, when situations like that happened, we was either gonna fight with the neighborhood or the neighborhood was gonna fight us when we got back home.
Yeah.
Right.
So you ain't had no choice but to fight back then.
That was the thing. But it's different now. Now they'd rather go get a gun.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be embarrassed, like you said.
But that's the problem when it gets. How do you get to that level?
It's the parents.
Like you that scared to take a butt whooping that you go get a gun and,
but you know the crazy
risk,
part about all of that?
Giving up 20 to 40 years of your life.
So you get into a fight, you go get a gun, you kill somebody, you go to jail, then you end up fist fighting for the next 20 years instead of fighting that one 15-minute fight.
One fight.
Like, have you ever thought about that? Either way, you're going to get into a major fist fight. So why not take this 5-10 minute little scuffle? Because more likely the other guy you fighting in 2019 can't fight anyway. So y'all gonna look like two girls out there.
That's what it is, man.
I think it's the parents too, though. I think it's the parents too, though.
But I kind of want to let Britt talk because we we got into our flow. We ain't really let her kind of jump in.
You gotta just jump in that thing like a pool. Right before you can't put your toe in. You gotta just get in that thing. Yeah.
Don't test it.
Test the waters. You gotta test the waters.
But in general, we kind of wanted to let you hear your view on what we're talking about from the aspect of change. And the question he asked, because you didn't get a chance to answer it, we kind of just jumped right over you. Everybody answered it. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So how do you bridge that gap between my generation and the older generation when it comes to taking actions after protesting, coming together? Like, what do you do next? Because we never taught that We were just told just to come together and stand arm to arm, and then go on with your day.
My attitude, well, it's kind of be relevant. You can't just show up to the protest and say, I'm here for you, and not actually be here for the community and the young folks.
See?
Like, for instance, like, say, you leaving a party one night, because we know y'all like to party when we used to go to go-go's and stuff. And say if you feel like you fear for your life that something's going to break off, call one of us and be like, can y'all come pick me up so I won't be in the mix of it all. Because I'm here. I mean, I'm willing to do it.
And the first thing we do is find our phones, get the first video of it.
And then they'll be like, oh, you're a part of that neighborhood trying to get, you don't want to be a part of that because you really want the change. So, yeah, call on, we say we here, you need to call on this generation. And if they turn their back on you, then you be like, oh, so y'all really not there for me? Nah, we really
that
need
put
to
us on the
step up.
spot. Nah, you real. That's as real as it get right there. I mean, some of us don't want to be put on that spot, but I mean, hey, do it. I'm with it. I mean,
So I'm challenging other people to step up in that way. I'm here.
That's what's up.
Who else gonna do it? I know they gonna help us out.
If we're gonna put Foot's number on the bottom of the screen, if you need a ride, call him, and he will get contacted us. Anything we can do.
Anytime.
Yes, anytime I like
Y'all see, these my brothers. That's what we. Right. Because I want to smoke. Right. That's what it. Right. Right. Okay.
He said he gonna set up a shuttle. He gonna have the shuttle coming.
See, you got money.
But no, seriously, back to what Pounds was saying earlier, and I agree with it. But and Britt was saying, she just touched on, we need to start. And Fushy said earlier, as far as those people that are not in the spotlight, how do we bring them to the spotlight? But you have to realize some people don't want
the spotlight
because I've done things and back you know what I mean, that I didn't want out because it was just I did it for the kindness of my heart, from the kindness of my heart. Sometimes you don't want the spotlight. Some people can't deal with the spotlight. You get what I'm saying? But for the ones that do, how do we get to them to bring them to the spotlight? Because there's a lot of people doing stuff in our community.
And that's what I'm saying. So
I want to jump in real quick. After you finish, you jump in and you can go. Yeah. All right, so we'll go around the horn. We'll go around the horn. Because I think Pounds want to go too. So my quick, I'm gonna go quick.
You open some other doors and windows.
I'm gonna go quick. I think personally, what you're saying basically is just you just hop in and do.
That's the best option, just to jump out there and just go ahead and just start.
I mean, because I'm saying what you're saying is bringing to light the people, right? You saying so matter of fact, let's just what we doing, right? Before I took a whole year off of everything. No phone. I actually had my phone cut off. Nobody. This was 2017. Nothing. I dislike the idea of what social media is. That's why I did that, right? However, during that time, I learned some things that in order to get change, you're gonna have to reach people where they are, not where you want them to be.
Right.
That's why I say that so much. So when I came back with a renewed focus that I'm gonna have to make certain sacrifices to get to the things that I want to change. That means that I'm gonna have to expose my life. I'm gonna have to expose myself. And that's how these doors started to come. Because y'all need to know, I didn't plan this podcast stuff. This wasn't my work. This is literally the work of faith, divine faith, and wanting to make a change somewhere. I don't know where to make it, but I need to start somewhere, and that's how we got here. So I'm not saying this based on that. Go ahead, because I don't want to take too much more time.
The reason I say we need to bring it to light is because sometimes when one person sees another person do a kind act, it inspires them to do. So if you see somebody else donating, you might say, yeah, I got a bunch of clothes and shoes that I don't need. Let me go ahead and take them in there. But you just got to take that one person. And I'm not saying that you got to run it through, the streets that, Bree Love did this, but why not be congratulated for what you did good? Because if you did something wrong, I guarantee everybody going to know.
Yeah, they will.
When you stand.
Now, Bree Love said some interesting things. He said, how do we bring people not in the spotlight to the forefront? And, I'm going to spin that by saying, I think we don't need as many people in the forefront as we need people in the background.
United.
Yeah, and what I mean by that is, too, like, what's really ruling over everything is a lot of these fraternal societies. They in the back room, they doing rituals, they got candles or whatever. And all this stuff they do in the background has an influence on us in the daily life, how we go by with other things. And I think that the black man and black women need to get really back into that magical aspects of their spirituality because we don't have people in the forefront because we can't protect them. simple as that. You got Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, one after another. We've allowed them to be killed one way or another. Like, people see the bullet, but we don't see the magic that's happening in the background. People show up to your lectures and leave stuff on the ground and put stuff in the corners and walk out, and then eventually you in line, you know what I mean, for a shell or something like that. These people are playing on all levels. They're not just occupying one space. They got the people that come out and get on camera. They got the people that, just send money. And they got the people that put on dark robes and play with the magic. You know what I'm saying? So in order to do that, we need to occupy all these spaces. You know what I mean? Yeah, you need to find them magical black people that know rituals and how to summon African deities or whatever on your behalf. You need them to line up with the executive type person.
I talk to animals on my free time.
I'll give you a modern day example of that. I'll give y'all a modern day example of that. Because everybody knows Haitians. Everybody knows Haitians. Don't nobody want to mess with no Haitians. Asian, black, white, whatever. Yeah. Why? Because they got them voodoo, they got them Mauritius, and they don't even, you know what I'm saying? You don't even got to touch them a lot of times. If you try to bring harm to them, something just come back to you. You don't know what. And I think we need to, the Haitian Revolution was like that. Haiti, with the spirituality, came back, defeated the French, pushed all the Europeans out of South America. A lot of South American countries is free because of Haitians. So I think that we need to look at that.
I'm trying to tell you, get some education when you tune in.
I think we need to teach the youth like they rights. A lot of youth, they don't know their rights. You know what I'm saying? They don't know their rights. They need to know like what people sacrifice for them to like be here. You know what I'm saying? And I think that'll like grab them, and make them want to do better too.
Man, but once again, and that's my issue. Like, it's not an issue, but that's where I say the plan comes into play. But I really want to know. Like, we keep going back to social media. This is how we draw them in. You feel me? But they have to know about this program that he's drawing in. You understand what I mean? So where do we go from there? We need to get to these kids because, my daughter's out there. His daughter's out there. Your daughter, your nieces, you know what I mean? Nephews out here. And I get really concerned what I see because it's not what we were when we grew up. It's a total big difference. A totally big difference. And I see the lack of respect that these young kids have for adults.
Without a doubt.
And I see that, and that's what's disconcerting because I ride the metro every day to work, and the stuff that I see on the metro.
I can't see how you do.
Oh my goodness! And I don't want to single one out, but it hurts my heart when I see the little girls. And I mean, they're like 13, 14, and the stuff that comes out their mouth, you're like, are you serious? And it hurts my heart to a degree, But who am I? I can't say nothing to him because as soon as you say something to him, oh, who are you talking to? You ain't my father. You ain't my. Wait a minute, baby girl. I'm just trying to tell you. Wait a minute. You have other people on the train. You have elderly people on the train. Try to show some respect. And then they get real disrespectful with you, and you're like, huh? And I'm so old school that I'm like, really? But then I have to understand that I can't do that. That's not my child.
Yeah, because you'll wind up like
you'll
construction
wind up
work.
And
that construction work on the train.
What I tell you, sit down.
Shout out to the construction workers.
That thing was clean. Hold on, look. Watch the show, baby. We want you watch the show. Nah, look. But seriously,
I was drinking, smoking nothing, youngin.
That's what he said. I was drinking, smoking nothing. He was serious about that.
But no, seriously, man. Like, I think what you just said, it's gonna be gradual steps. What we can't do is expect it to happen overnight. Like y'all just told me Friday.
Which is true.
We can't expect it to happen overnight, one. And two, we can't panic when it doesn't. Because what happens, we find in our generation, because our attention span is short too, if it don't happen when we want it to happen, man, forget it. We ain't on one. I ain't got time for these kids. You know what I'm saying, man? I'm not, listen, I tried to talk to youngin' and he ain't listen. I'm not about to keep, because we can have this conversation.
We done had that.
I'm not going to keep banging, but we got to keep banging our head against that wall.
So we reached that.
Is it still any Big Brother programs out here?
I was actually in one.
We are it.
I was actually in one.
I know.
We are it.
That's why you brought it up.
I'm not saying that as a plug. No, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm not saying that as a plug or even to be crafty. Like, if you, I don't know if y'all have read it, but our mission statement is we are a mentor-mentee based nonprofit first. Like I said, this podcast platform is a blessing that's going to bless many people, but it was not planned. The nonprofit, the mentor-mentee based situation is it starts with me and him. This is my nephew. This is also my protege. I'm literally walking Abstrakt Xcilence through him. He is my mentee. I'm his mentor. In doing such, we build the whole everything. You guys, everybody is a part of that. They see the show. That's one thing. But I'm saying this to you guys. You want to be involved? Hit me. Email me. Whatever. That's what we are about. We are about changing the narrative and touching the next generation in a positive, prosperous way. That's why my daughter is the CFO. That's why his daughter beats me up.
Yeah, she's security. She's gonna be security.
Listen, we are about that. That's why you see my kids, my nephew. This isn't he just putting this. This is about actual mentoring and leading. We're leading by example and not just by words. So what you see is what you get, not what you hear. Get the difference? It's not some image or something. So that's the action that you spoke of.
Right.
This is the first time I've ever said it out loud for anybody to hear. So this is not me showing off at all, but it's what we talked about. It's saying I didn't need to say, oh, I'm mentoring my nephew.
Right.
What I needed to do was lead and get to the point where he can see what I'm doing. And now that's my partner now. You know what I'm saying? That's my partner. On paperwork, business, we have business licensing. That's my partner.
I'm talking about, Sean. Make sure you name one.
Tony, we go over the books later. You know we do the books.
So in being that, like saying that, because we got about 5 minutes left, folks, trying to get to that point of saying like how we change it, man, and what we do is just listen. We don't need pub. We just need to get out, man. If you see a youngin', you see something, say something. You see a youngin' doing something, he ain't got no business. Just a youngin', man. Listen, you shouldn't be cursing like that around that old lady. He curse you out, he do whatever. You know what, youngin'? I love you, man. I respect you. Keep it moving. You can't give him back that energy because that's not leading the way. Because even if he curses you out and you like, I don't know who this is, you walk away. I guarantee you,
that's a response,
the
right?
way it works is somehow that youngin' thinks later on, damn, man, I ain't even have to do all that, man.
Some of them.
OG job is trying to tell me something, and it might take 2 years before he get it.
Yeah.
True.
But your objective isn't when he gets it, it's that he gets
Gets
it.
it. Period. Gotcha.
So
And
you
that
try.
you tried to give it.
Yeah, you try. You try until you can't try no more, and then you try some more.
See, when I say that, I'm wrong. I'm trying to tell you, that's a construction worker.
Sorry, I'm a little under the weather too.
To add on to that, like people in negative ways or whatever, it's techniques for that. Like, let's say you run into somebody, they angry. Herbs, the smell of things, snatch people right at anger and put them in different moods. You know what I mean? Certain lighting and coloring, certain sounds. You know what I mean? Have a deeper influence than our conscious mind. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Striking what's called a healing bowl. I done done this. Like I done got a whole bunch of little knuckleheads from doggies or whatever. My brother mentored me or whatever.
Right.
I sit them in a room and I play what's called a crystal bowl. And all of them would leave with such peace of mind. They call me, Uncle Stan, what's that? How can I see that on YouTube? And they get on YouTube and they looking up spiritual stuff.
So they
You know
can
what I mean?
do
I
That's
think
what's
that
up.
we just gotta introduce them to that.
Yeah, if
kind
you
of
introduce
thing.
them to stuff,
You know,
yeah.
show them some herbs and burn them and tell them, does this make you more calmer? Does it take you in a better mental state? And they'll be like, yeah, I'm chilled out now. I'm chilling.
Right.
Yeah, so we gotta get back into them African arts, Sankofa, you know. Word.
That said, people.
Before we go.
Go ahead.
I want to shout out my son. Love you, JJ. My guy.
Yes.
Nephew.
Right.
Captain.
Quick shout outs. Anybody got anything else to shout out real quick?
Man, reach one, teach one, hugs, not slugs, man.
Yeah.
Happy belated birthday to my daughter. Love you, Pooh Bear.
Books Over Bullets. Brittany, tell them where they can find you.
I'm on social media, Pretty Brown Eyes 24, and on Facebook, Brittany Burgess. Brittany Pinky Burgess.
Fellas, y'all got all y'all 202 Lifestyles on
202
Instagram.
Lifestyle Instagram.
Anthony Brelove on Instagram.
You know,
Power
Pound
1600.
Arc Island. Mr. JD Wright, also Abstrakt Xcilence on IG, Abstrakt Xcilence on FB, Facebook, Abstrakt Xcilence on Twitter, Abstrakt Xcilence on WhatsApp, Abstrakt Xcilence at Gmail and or iCloud. Email us anytime. Make sure next show you call in 240-719-2560. Abstrakt Xcilence. Let's sum this up quickly.
yeah. It's beautiful, man. I don't know if I can do it.
Marketing expert.
That said, man, listen. We back in a week from now, but in between that time, take time to figure out every day for the next week what you can do just in small steps, to change the narrative. It's not about running in somebody's hood, standing in front of a gun. It's just, man, maybe it might be a hello when you get in the elevator. It might just be saying to youngin', you know, do something he ain't supposed to do and saying, hey, listen, you know better, man. Like, just do something, man. Do something. Try. Because at the end of the day, a try is better than a complaint.
100.
What you gonna do? So y'all know what it is. It's Abstract Excellence, Gifted, Art, and Driven. My baby got some things she need to say, baby. What you gotta say? What you gotta say? Good night. Oh, well, good night. I guess we out of here.
30 days serious.
Peace.
And when I say thug life, I mean that shit. Because these white folks see us as thugs. I don't care what y'all think. I don't care if you think you a lawyer, if you a man, if you an African American, if you whatever the fuck you think you are. We thugs and niggas to these motherfuckers. You know? And until we own some shit, I'ma call it like it is. How you gonna be a man if we start?
When you black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. I'd rather go to war against my own government. I would never die for America. Black in America, when you black in America, feel trapped in America. Fair shooting first, black lives, they don't give a damn, so you gotta stay strapped in America. Black in America, they don't understand what we go through. I don't give a damn what they told you. They be lying in the media, don't believe none of what you hear, and only half what they show you. Black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America, when you black in America, this is not for America. Black in America, cause I'm young and black. I'm destined for jail cells and hearses, Lord, that's all they see for my future. My options, I play ball or rap. They think we not equal to them, well, let me be the first one to cease all the rules. Cause we ain't got time for the small talk. I'm from the city where the crooked niggas dwell. Feds come run away.